notice I'm driving the new truck. Fast forward a little bit, it runs and drives now. I'm a little bit behind on those videos. But anyways, this isn't about that. This is about, I forgot what I was gonna make this video about. Today I'm gonna talk about the new layout, format, whatever you wanna call it, for Klutch Kickers. If you guys saw my last post, Klutch Kickers is now going to be broadcast on Cleeter's pay-per-view channel. Now on my post there was a lot of back and forth about whether people think that's a good idea or bad idea. Obviously, if you don't want to spend money, you think it's a bad idea, right? Oh, I want to save as much money as I can, I don't want to spend money on that. But if you think about it from a practical standpoint, drifting's trying to progress. Klutch Kickers is trying to do better as a sport. I mean, as a organizer and a series within the sport. And so they need to be able to progress, and they need to take the steps forward in order to make their series successful, right? A couple things about their series, if we consider it. One, they do a live broadcast. You look at other series that don't do anything, right? You show up, you drive, you have fun, you compete, you win. What do you get? Nothing, because there's no broadcast, right? So from that standpoint, it allows you to sell. It allows you to sell to sponsors, right? You say, okay, my car, myself, your company, all that stuff is going to be on display in the live broadcast, right? That's one thing that Klutch Kicker does well, and it's a good broadcast too. They did a great job. Number two, they pay out to their drivers, right? It's a bumpy truck. They pay out to their drivers, so you have the ability not only to be seen on the broadcast, but also to win $10,000 for first place, $5,000 for second place, $3,500 for third place. That's a good payout. Like, you don't see that a lot in drifting. Formula D doesn't even pay like that to their drivers. So if you combine those things together, it makes it very valuable. It's a good series, a good value for what you're doing, right? So that's from a driver's standpoint. Now, from a spectator standpoint, you may think, well, I don't want to spend $10 to watch these drivers drive, right? But in reality, if you think of drifting, it's no different than Monster Jam or anything where you pay to go watch, right? And in this case, you're paying for a good broadcast. What do you get as a spectator, right? You get to watch all the drivers drive, right? If you've watched the last 2 years, you're probably already kind of invested in the guys that have done well in the past, and it's kind of its own series with its own drivers that are working their way towards the top. So you have that aspect. Two, it's a good production, right? You're getting to watch a well put together production. I'd argue almost as good as Formula D's production, as far as like camera angles, quality, the commentating, all that stuff is very good. They did a great job. And then on top of that, you're also getting sorry, I lost my train of thought. Another thing to consider is someone brought this up in one of my oh man, this truck is rough. Someone brought this up in my chat in the Facebook comments. A lot of people will spend money for all sorts of entertainment, whether it's a UFC fight or their monthly Netflix subscription or whatever it is, right? And we're talking about people that would watch Klutch Kickers are already drift fans, right? And so as a drift fan, are you willing to support a series that supports the drivers and makes this sustainable, right? Because if people aren't willing to put in, if people aren't willing to help support a company that's doing so well to progress the sport, then the sport's going to fall apart. Eventually there will be nothing to watch. There will be nowhere to drive, nothing to watch, and the whole thing's going to fall apart. So it's kind of an important time to decide whether, you know, as a spectator, you're willing to support, willing to invest, all that stuff, right? Now let's talk about the reasons behind this. Klutch Kickers had to leave their old facility, right? Their old facility, I thought it was a good facility. It was fun. They had, you know, control over when they could use it and all that stuff. That was great. But the facility got sold and the contract was up. They could no longer use that facility. So they had to hunt around and find what they could find. And I think it's great that they teamed up with Cleeter and were able to use Freedom Factory. It's a great facility. He took it from a dilapidated state and brought it back to something great. I think that's awesome, right? So the fact that we're able to use that for drifting, I think is great. Now let's consider that. Cleetus has spent a lot of money updating the facility, right? And you can argue, well, he has money, he makes money on YouTube, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's a business. He's a businessman. He's trying to make things work for himself and for his future. And you can't blame a guy for wanting to make something profitable that he has put his heart and soul and invested money into. So I understand that aspect. And how's he going to monetize what he's doing? Well, there's different ways to do it, but he's already been using his influence in his YouTube channel to bring pay-per-view stuff to bring his automotive group to his pay-per-view channel, and I got no problem with that. I don't see a problem with that at all, right? Now, of course, there's going to be people that say, I'm not going to support this, I'm not going to watch Klutch Kickers, and that's unfortunate, right? From a driver, I feel like, well, yeah, if it was free, that would be great, because then we get a lot more spectators, right? But really, you can look at it two ways. We're getting more dedicated spectators, more dedicated fans. If you're willing to spend $10 to watch, 2 or 3 day production, then it's a more dedicated fan that's watching. So there's two ways to look at it, right? But from a business standpoint, I look at things from a business standpoint, as I'm sure a lot of people do. It's not a bad move for Cleetus to want to monetize what he has, right? So you can look at it two ways, but that's kind of my take on it. I'm not going to go any deeper into that. I'm excited about Klutch Kickers. The first round looks like it's going to be a blast. I'm excited to drive there on a bank. I think it's going to be fun to have a little bit bigger track where there will definitely be a necessity for more horsepower. There's no arguing that anymore. And there's going to be high-level competition. They've already announced all the drivers list. I'm really, really excited about all that stuff. I'm bringing out a car that I haven't driven in a long time, but I've got all the confidence in the world. My first lap at my first lap at Freedom Factory was on Drift Week. We got to do a few laps there. I took out a car that I hadn't really driven that much on a track that I'd never been on, and I got on the bank first lap, like immediately, no problem. So I'm super comfortable with the bank. I've got no issue at all, like with my confidence level going into this round. As long as my car does what it's supposed to, I'm excited. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. Please watch Klutch Kickers. Please support the sport. Please help keep the sport alive. I really don't want to see it die. So motorsports in general seem to be suffering because of electric cars, the push for emission standards, all sorts of stuff like that. I don't like to see it, right? So like I really get worried about motorsports, the future, the thing that we all love to do, and I don't want to see that go down. So please support. Please do what you can. If you're close to Freedom Factory, come out and watch. Support in any way you can. But either way, whether you don't watch or do, please follow my videos. I appreciate you guys supporting me in that way and following along what I do. We put a lot of effort and time and energy into this stuff, and it's always nice to get feedback. So let me know what you think below in the comments about Klutch Kickers and the Freedom Factory and Cleetus being involved and all that stuff. And then the pay-per-view thing, right? That's going to be something that people want to talk about. So I want to hear what you have to say about it. Please say it. Be nice in the comments, right? I love Klutch Kickers. I appreciate what they're doing. Decisions had to be made, and we need to be able to support that. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, follow along, because we'll be doing more. Bye.